All right, and so again, I am the Director of Community Outreach. My name is Gabrielle Walker, and I'm super excited to be a part of this campaign because I understand the energy that is required to win this race. It's also dear to me because I am from Allegheny County, born and raised, actually right down the street, Manchester. Shout out to the north side. And so I know what it feels like, not only to be impacted by the disparities, but for someone to turn a blind eye to it. I will go from Homewood to New Township, Murraysville to Garfield, Clarendon to the north side, and everywhere in between to make sure that Matt Dugan is our next district attorney. But I cannot do it alone. I will need your help. So I will be the one that's calling you all, whether it's passing petitions, knocking doors, or phone banking. And everybody in this room has the ability to be a change maker by helping us vote Matt Dugan for district attorney. But I already see so many change makers in this room. And us as voters, we are change makers, so let's give a clap for that. Help me help us. But it doesn't stop there. We also have to make sure collectively that we hold Matt Dugan accountable for his job once we win this seat. This isn't for the title. This is to make sure that we finally have the representation doing real work for the betterment of Allegheny County. And now I'm proud to introduce our bold candidate, Matt Dugan.
Hello, hello, hello. Gabby Walker. Thank you, everyone, for coming out here tonight. We had a long, long list of distinguished folks. We missed everyone else in the room. Everyone here, thank you all so much for coming out. So there's some people I'd like to sort of acknowledge here and tell a little bit about how I found myself on this stage right now in front of this live stream. I want to thank, where's Giuseppe Roselli? He just fell down. Giuseppe, and where's Fran Weimer? These guys came to me a couple months ago, and I was real excited about the opportunity to talk about who was going to be the next district attorney of Allegheny County. And they kept coming back, and we kept having these conversations because I was really, really interested and really invested in seeing criminal justice change. But I didn't realize that they were actually in the process of sort of tricking me, because it was their intention after a few conversations to ask me to do it. And I said no, of course. But, Giuseppe is, he's a warrior. And what he did on the campaign trail last year was fantastic. And, when I looked at the slate of 8 and the progress that we made in the courts, and Giuseppe put me in touch with so many different folks. I had the opportunity to talk with Frank Walker and Brandy Fisher, who didn't get the show. Where's Brandy?
I'm right here.
There she is. And I started talking to some folks, and some of you in the room here tonight, Bethany, just talking about what the county needs. And when you all started to believe in me, I started to believe in myself. And I'm really, really, really excited to announce my candidacy for district attorney.
Thank you for watching this video of Pittsburgh Events. To watch this video again or any other video from Pittsburgh Events, you can go to the YouTube channel. It's 18 Rico. It's youtube.com/18RICCO. Again, thank you for watching, and you can check out this video and any other video from Pittsburgh Events and many other videos that didn't make it on TV.
I still, however, once I got all that affirmation, I still, however, was most concerned about the folks who are closest and dearest to me, right? So this decision was not made alone. And I wouldn't be here tonight talking with y'all if I didn't have the unwavering support of my wife, April. But not just her support, her understanding that this is not just an opportunity like for myself, that this isn't like some professional accomplishment that I'm trying to achieve, that this is actually for a much bigger cause, criminal justice reform within the county. So it's important for you all to understand that April, and even the boys, look at these guys, they understand that this just isn't about, the Ducan family or me. This is about all of us. And they, as much as me and as much as all of you, they're going to sacrifice as well during this, these 4 months and hopefully the next 4 years after that, because this is going to be a tall lift, but we're going to get it done. The thing that I miss most, that I had to give up was, and I was real close actually to leaving the profession of law, because I was a 5th grade basketball coach last year, and I was really good at it. Like, we didn't win a lot of games, but like there was, I was getting the hang of it, and I was the assistant coach for 3rd grade. It was great. It actually was. It was like the best. It was the best part of what I had going on. And you're familiar with the expression like dress for the job you want, not the job you have. I had to believe like people were starting to question like what my career ambitions were, because I was like showing up to work in like quarter zip moon basketball stuff. But when I talked to Thomas, my oldest, about what this run was going to entail, I had to break the news to him that I wasn't going to be able to coach the basketball team, right? Yeah. And it's fair to say you were disappointed, right? Okay. Yeah, right? And, he actually sat silent for about 30 seconds. Do you remember what he said? Yeah. He said, Dad, do you think that you could do this in like 2 years? Because like by that time, I'm probably just going to want to be with my friends anyway. So we talked about election cycles, and, I sort of reflected quietly about the fact that he's planning to blow me off in 2 years. But, it's absolutely, it's absolutely important for me to have their support. It's essential. I wouldn't be here without it, and I'm forever indebted. Maybe not forever indebted. I mean, I did say yes to a puppy like 2 weeks ago. Let me tell you a story about how I actually wound up where I am. It's 2 days after college graduation, and I'm doing what college kids do. You're celebrating graduation, and we're at a party, and we're outside, and as it happens, there's a bunch of kids out there, and a piece of furniture gets dragged out into an open area. And as a piece of furniture sometimes happens, well, it gets set on fire. Sounds funny, but there were actually police staking out the entire party, and several of us ended up getting arrested. And I was immediately cognizant of the fact that my life was no longer in my hands. My future was in question. It was the scariest time of my life. I was embarrassed, I was ashamed, and I felt the entire weight of the government on my shoulders. But I was lucky because I had access to resources. And I was lucky enough to get into a true diversion program and stayed out of trouble for a little bit. And everything went away. And here I am today. And that experience brought me to law school. And that experience brought me to indigent criminal defense. And it brought me my first summer to an internship with conflict counsel. And it was towards the end of the summer where I say we, I won't say who the supervising attorney is, but they may be watching on Facebook. It was a Friday afternoon, and we were waiting for a client to come. We were waiting for a client to come in. He was a young kid, 20, 21 years old. And he had been charged with possession with intent to deliver. He had delivered drugs to an undercover agent. And this kid was cooked. he delivered the drugs. He was arrested on site. They found more drugs in his pocket. He was caught. Okay? This kid, like I said, 21, 22 years old, never been in trouble before. Never been in trouble before. And this is back in the day when there were mandatory minimums for these crimes. He was looking at 2 to 4 years in prison if convicted. And as I said, it was a good case, or a bad case, however you want to look at it. So it's about 3:30, 3:45, and this kid hasn't showed up yet. So I call him and he says, yeah, I'm on my way. And my supervising attorney, he's getting kind of impatient because the kid's late. And I call him back and he says he's on his way. So supervising attorney leaves. So it's just me waiting for this kid. And he finally shows up. And I'm sure he's probably not expecting like a first year, like summer intern to be there and be the only one there. But I brought him in and I told him about the mandatory minimum. But I told him that the Commonwealth had offered him a plea deal. If he pleads guilty to the felony, he can instead serve 11.5 to 23 months in the Allegheny County Jail. And this kid, his shoulders just dropped. Because he had no idea he was facing a mandatory, was not anticipating hearing that he was about to go to jail potentially. And I remember he said, I don't know if my girlfriend's gonna stay with me if I take this deal. And I don't know what I was expecting him to say, but that wasn't it. But like, that's a real concern for a 22-year-old kid. So we talk a little bit longer and we talk about some strategies, things that we can potentially do.
Thank you for watching this video of Pittsburgh Events. To watch this video again or any other video from Pittsburgh Events, you can go to the YouTube channel as 18Rico. It's youtube.com/18RICCO. Again, thank you for watching, and you can check out this video and any other video from Pittsburgh Events and many other videos that didn't make it on TV.
And I remember this distinctly. He stood up, he walked over to the window, and he said to himself, well, I guess it's time for me to do my time. I have no idea what I said in response, but I knew then that my career was going to be in criminal justice. Because this kid grew up with the understanding, even the expectation, that he would go to prison one day. And I look at that kid who's 22 years old, 21 years old, 2 days after graduation. And I look at this kid who's 21, 22 years old, sitting in that room that day. And there's very little that is different about those two kids, except what they look like and where they come from. Right. Now, we went to work for that kid. And we called everybody we could find. And we ultimately got him an offer for probation. That kid's a felon today. He had to plead guilty to that crime. You know, the vast majority of crimes we see in the criminal justice system are low-level, non-violent offenses. And you're gonna hear a lot during this campaign about diversion programs. We don't have diversion programs in Allegheny County. We have treatment courts. And there's a big difference, because in treatment courts, you gotta plead guilty to these crimes. And in order to get into the treatment courts, you need to have failed multiple times throughout the criminal justice system before you are offered this targeted support. There are three main drivers into the criminal justice system for these nonviolent offenses: substance abuse disorder, untreated, undiagnosed mental health issues, and instability. That is lack of access to consistent employment, consistent housing, consistent attachment to services. Why do we wait until people are beyond crisis to offer the services and the connection to services? We know those work. Treatment courts work. Treatment courts work. They reduce recidivism. We know that. But we don't offer it in this county until the train is way too far down the tracks. We need to offer these services, identify these needs early on, and divert these low-level cases out of the criminal justice system. You know, people say that that's a soft on crime approach. I don't agree at all with that. In fact, I think diverting low-level offenders out of the criminal justice system increases public safety. It's an investment in people. It's an investment in people. It's an investment in prevention as opposed to punishment. And the good news about prevention, it's cheaper than the punishment as well. We got to talk about violent crime. All right? Violent crime is up. There's no doubt about it. There was a shooting today downtown. We know that violent crime was up in 2022. Just like it was up in 2021. Just like it was up in the tail end of 2020. This is not a new phenomenon. And we know that the current administration and their failed policies of the past are doing nothing to address the core drivers of those issues as well. We have an opportunity in 2023 to think differently about violent crime. An opportunity to get in front of violent crime. We're going to have a new county executive soon. There's going to be an election for county executive. We have a mayor who is entering only his second year in office. We have a robust Department of Human Services here in Allegheny County or in Dalton. We have a Department of Health. We have a Human Services at the state level and a Department of Health at the state level. It's going to take cooperation and collaboration, the likes of which we've not seen in this county, between county government, city government, and all of these agencies to address the drivers of violent crime. We also need to figure out, how are these guns getting into neighborhoods? How are these guns getting into the hands of young kids? How are these guns so prevalent in the neighborhoods that lack the basic resources? We have to figure that out. And if we're able to divert these low-level offenders out of the criminal justice system, then that gives us the ability to be sharp and focused and divert resources to the prosecution of violent crime. And the successful prosecution of violent crime is going to require investments that this administration has not met. It requires an investment in the communities most impacted by this violence. We need to build a relationship with the neighborhoods most impacted by crime. We need to be seen as a trusted friend, somebody that is invested in the positive future of these neighborhoods. We need to develop positive police relationships with neighborhoods. We must be able to use the office of the district attorney to think about prevention. And when we must prosecute violent crime, we must do so efficiently, effectively, and aggressively. So, I'm asking you to think differently about this race. I'm asking you to think differently, to be bold, and I'm asking you to get on board for our campaign for district attorney. I want to thank some folks here. I want to thank Erin. If you've not seen Erin, Erin runs our finances.
I will take all your money.
She's not kidding. I'm not kidding. We do need help in that way. This is a countywide race. There are huge consequences attached to that. No dollar amount is too small. I appreciate that. I want to give Nicole a shout out, and James, and Josh, and of course Gabby, and Thomas, Leo, Miles, April, my whole family who's here, and all of you. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming out, and you're going to see us everywhere in this county.
Yes, we will.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so I can bring you more videos on subjects like this and many other topics. Please leave any comments in the comment section. Any questions or comments, I'll get back to them as soon as I possibly can. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.